Believe it or not, one of the original Brass Check stories way back in 1997 was about vote counting fraud. Now, notice I didn't say voter fraud or even election fraud. I said vote counting fraud. And those were the days when we did a lot of writing. And physically, I just can't do a lot of writing anymore. Writing is hard on the back. So I do talking instead. But anyway, those were the days we did a lot of writing. And as far as I know, and if anybody can find different, the report that we did on the 1997 stadium bond election in San Francisco was the single most in-depth journalistic enterprise ever carried out in the history of the United States on the actual mechanics of vote counting fraud. And we did this well in advance of the George Bush election fraud, and we even talked about Chad and all that kind of stuff 3 years before it became a national issue. Anyway, we have not talked about candidates or who we like or who we don't like. I think we've been given the choice between trash and garbage, so I don't really know, what do you say about that? But if people are curious about the mechanics of vote counting fraud, let me say a few things about that. Besides the fact you should go and check out this site, it'll curl your hair if you have hair, and if you have curly hair, it'll straighten it, and it's unbelievable. And interestingly enough, this happened in San Francisco. I don't think anybody has pointed out that if you put Joe Biden in the White House, Kamala Harris is one heartbeat away from being president of the United States. I cannot imagine a more catastrophic outcome for this country or any. You can do a little research on how she actually got involved in San Francisco politics. All I can say is Monica Lewinsky got a bad rap. Anyway, it's interesting that San Francisco, which has provided us with Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi and Feinstein, is that her name? Is that her name? I can't even remember all these people. Also provided us with Kamala Harris, and they're all proteges of a guy named Willie Brown, whose specialty from his first days in public life was election fraud. He defrauded a NAACP election way back when. Interestingly enough, he was a close political ally of Jim Jones of Jonestown fame, and we have a whole website about that. That's one of the great untold stories also of American history, but there's no denying it. The photographs and the documentation it's airtight. And basically they worked with Jones to get out the vote for the Democratic Party of San Francisco. Again, I don't take sides, but if you want to know how somebody like Nancy Pelosi could maintain her position in Congress for so long, she's the Democratic congressperson from San Francisco. And anybody with a pulse who is that candidate for that party is going to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anyway, the website is about the San Francisco election fraud. It gets into all the different things. See, elections are administered locally. All right, there's no federal elections. There's not even state elections. It's run on a county basis, and even then, it's run on a town by town basis. But usually, the county administers it. So you've got the same buffoons who are running the country into the ground on a micro level every day are also running the elections, and sometimes they're honest people, sometimes they're capable people, but there is infinite room for chicanery, just boundless. So anyway, we've got this site. You may be interested in checking it out. It will be an education. You absolutely will not find this information anywhere else. The right won't tell you. The left won't tell you. The progressives won't tell you. The centrists won't tell you. The radicals won't tell you. The hard-hitting independent journalists won't tell you. The only place you're going to find this information is on Brass Check. So I hope you enjoy it.